Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to August 25th. Yes, I had to look down again. August 25th edition of Kevali Channeling Presents. We have a special guest this week. I am so excited. I have interviewed this young lady a couple times now. I think at least twice, maybe once, anyways. I think it's twice though. She is an amazing healer. Oops, I have to get rid of that and bring this up to show everybody. It is Kim Wilkinson. So I'm going to click the magic button and she's going to pop onto our screen. Look at that technology. I'm making it work, Kim. And I can hear you.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. How are you, young lady?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Welcome to the show once again. Is it twice? Is this the third time you've been on?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
It's been a few times.
It's been a few
I'm
times.
happy to be back.
I
Very happy to be
love
back.
having
Thank
you. I love having you. You're always, follow you on social media, obviously. And I just watch all the different things you're doing. And it's like, holy, this is someone that you inspire me, because it's like you're doing so much. And I'm like, I need to step my game up, because I got to try to keep up with a Kim. But you're, and not only me, I know I talk to a lot of people. You inspire a lot of us.
Thank you.
Because of your energy and just being you. You're just so genuine. You don't bring in what I call the woo-woo. I shouldn't use this word. I'm going to call it the fakeness, and it's probably the wrong word, but I think theatrics. My guides corrected me. You don't bring into theatrics into what we do, which is very, very cool.
Thank you.
But let's take you back.
Okay.
How many years have you been? Now, what do you call yourself? You're a healer?
Well, I've never resonated with the term healer, because I don't believe I'm doing the healing. I think of myself as a conduit when it comes to healing. But I would say as of late, if I'm going to have a title, it's a shaman.
Okay.
I've been studying with the Shamans Improve for the last 5 years, and I'm doing my final initiation for a particular the Kiro tribe that I've been studying with, and continuing in others as well. But yeah, I do a lot of different things, but my biggest focus now is channeling and the ceremonies, workshops, and retreats.
That is so cool. Now, when did you get into this, and how did you get into this?
Oh boy.
I love this story.
Okay. Long story short. So yeah, in my old life, I used to work in municipal government for a lot of years in recreation.
Great.
So I was in that high impact job, and I always did sort of fitness on the side, but the boot camps and the spin classes and that sort of thing. And I was, that person that had a lot of stress. I suppressed emotions. My distraction from dealing with my stuff was fitness. So I would go to the gym all the time, which is no healthier than any other, type of addiction. But I think what changed for me, the first door that really opened to those a million other doors, and the infinite number of doors that we're all still going through, was yoga. And when I did attend my first yoga class, I did not enjoy it. I can tell you, I was that person laying there at the end thinking, oh, how long do we lay here? And I wonder if anybody falls asleep, and what am I going to make for supper when I get home, and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't go back to yoga for probably 4 years. But, something happened, and I think it was about 2008, 2009. And I think it was like a New Year's resolution, which I'm not really a big New Year's resolution person anymore, but I was at the time. And I thought, I'm going to go to yoga, and started going to hot yoga, fell in love with it, never thought I would be a teacher. That changed one day to where I thought, okay, I'm going to, sorry, I don't want to have my thing dinging here. I'm going to leave my $80,000 a year job and become a full-time yoga teacher. And I came home and told my husband that, and he said, are you sure? And I said, oh yeah, it'll all work out. But it really did, it did. And it was the best thing I ever did. And yoga led to meditation, which led to Reiki, and so on and so on. And when I look back now, I feel like it was really, um, I say my life is so divinely guided, but I think our lives are all and always have
Yes.
been divinely guided, but you become aware of it maybe at some point.
Yes.
And what I was realizing is, and for those that don't know, our youngest son, Tristan, he died of overdose in 2019. He struggled with a lot of mental health and addictions. And I really feel like I was being prepared to deal with that loss. And, when that happened, I had some of the tools and the resources that I do now. And intuitively, I knew it was going to happen. You pray it doesn't, you don't want it to, but I just knew and I didn't know when. But when he did pass away, there was something in me, just this knowing. I just knew I had two options. I could heal or I could suffer. And that was it. Those are the only two options, heal or suffer. And I think that's the case for everything in life. And I chose to heal because I'd suffered long enough and I was tired of it, like tired of it,
Yes.
which everybody can relate to. And I just started to, I dove into healing that loss and realized that I had all these other losses, right? And that was 2019. And then, we were hit with COVID in 2020, which, brought a lot of time for reflection and other things. So I dove
Yes.
deep into, I studied through the Grief Recovery Institute. I studied under Dr. Gabor Mate with his stuff. I was studying a lot of other spiritual teachers, Joe Dispenza and Sadhguru and Dolores Cannon. And, I probably have enough certificates that I could wallpaper this whole wall behind me.
Nice.
And, but it's just been an incredible journey. But the healing just opened up something so profound. It's been an incredible journey. And I tell people today that, my greatest loss was my greatest gift. And, I have this new relationship with my son and work with him in spirit. And, of course, I'd be not human if I didn't say I wouldn't want to have my son here. But you know what? I am so proud of him of where he is and so grateful for what he taught me and continues to teach me. I wouldn't be who I am today, doing what I do today, having this life that I have today, if it wasn't for that journey that we went through. So I have a lot of gratitude for, those greatest, hardest, most difficult times in life.
That is, I just love that story. Because so many people who have suffered loss, and before I met Angela, my girlfriend, who is also a grief coach, I used to always think, do you really ever get over a loss of that magnitude, whether it be a brother, in my case, in Angela's case, her husband, in your case, your son? Do you ever actually get over it? I didn't think you did. I thought just time made it easier. The way she has kind of showed me, and you do get over it. And it sounds really corny, but you can move on from that. And actually, like you said, you can choose to heal or choose to suffer. It's your choice. And unfortunately, too many people have been told that you're going to suffer. This is the way you're going to feel for the rest of your life. I mean, I bet you there was people who told you that when your son died. And it's not true. You don't have to suffer like that, as you know.
Yeah, you don't have to, but there are a lot of people that do, right? And I think it's, I think the big thing is moving into this understanding. And of course, we could talk about beliefs for a week here.
Yes.
Um, but my beliefs have changed over the years. And I have this belief that because I feel like it's been proved to me a lot of times through science and different experiences I've had, but you know, the soul doesn't die. The
Yes.
spirit doesn't die. It's still there. It's just in a different form, in a different way. And we can still have relationships and even conversations with the people we've lost. It's just in a different way. It's not in
Yes.
the way we're used to. And also, as I'm sure you know, um, I can't speak for everybody, but I would say for the majority of people, you have to be in the right energy or in a certain energy or frequency to be able to communicate with spirit, right? If you're in that heaviness, in that, grief and low vibrations, you can be, spirit can be right in front of your face screaming at you. You don't know it, you don't feel it, you don't sense it.
Been there.
But I can tell you, I can randomly, when I was in yoga today, sitting on my mat, I felt my dog who passed last week sitting beside me on my mat. And it was like,
Oh.
this is so beautiful.
Yes.
Um, but but we have to be in that energy of it and the belief of it too.
Yes. And I mean, I love the way you phrase that. You have to be in that right. I always say the right frame of mind. I don't believe what you and I do is gifts. I think if it is, we're all gifted. And
Absolutely.
we all,
Everybody can.
yes. And it bugs me when someone says, "Oh, well, I was gifted and I'm going to share my gift with you because you can't." Well, no, teach them. What is the saying? You can sell a man a fish or you can teach him to fish. Your
Hmm.
choice, right? Um,
Yeah.
your guides are like so vivid to me. I just I just love it. Um, and your son again is just yeah. He's making me giggle, and I'm
He's
trying to keep a
very
straight
big
face.
energy.
Right? I'm like, okay, you need to back up a little bit. That's funny. Um, so you moved into a doing more than just one thing. So many of us, myself, I'm doing one thing. I teach channeling and I channel. Um, you have just grown and you have done so many different things. So why don't we talk about what it is you do now?
Sure. Yeah.
I
I've
got a
done so
pen.
many different things. Yeah. I just get drawn to things, guided to things. So, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just because of, certain experiences as a kid, but I seem to love jumping into the unknown or putting myself on the spot. Um, Whereas that is a very difficult thing for a lot of people, but it has served me well. It really has. So I've learned to trust that, I think. But yes, the last 5 years I've been studying under the Quero shamans of Peru, really drawn to um, their teachings, their ways, their practices, their ceremonies. I knew several years ago I wanted to learn about that. And I just, I kind of explored around to find the right teachers, the right community, that sort of thing. And then I was really drawn to this. It's the Inca Medicine School. It is the Apaza family out of the Quiro Nation in Peru, and they are one of the longest lineages that dates back to the Inca time.
Oh wow.
And so I've done so many of all of their shaman level trainings and various workshops. When I was there in Peru last year, I did my level 2 initiation, and I'm heading back there next month. And I'm going to do my final initiation there, which I'm very excited about.
That's so
But
cool.
it really opened up uh, so much spiritually and through, channeling even, especially when we were there at the end of our retreat where we did the ayahuasca ceremony. And that was just mind blowing, life changing, opened up a million more doors, and they just continue to open. So, long story short, my experience with ayahuasca last year was it was a 2 day ceremony. The first ceremony was in the evening with the moon energy, feminine, soft. The next day was middle of the day with the sun. And long story short, I would explain the experience for me as day one was like an interview with the spirit of Mama Ayahuasca, and day two was training day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. The first day, what happened, I had this feeling my hands were going to be moving, and they did. They started moving all over. I can't even try to make it happen the way they do, but for 3 hours, I'm in this psychedelic experience and I'm seeing plants and animals and all these different realms. And it was like her spirit was part of me, but I was still part of me. And I could see and feel and know her personality, what she was doing. She was healing, clearing, creating, uniting. It was mind blowing, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, I've got to remember all this because this is the coolest thing ever. And it was 3 hours of my hands going like this.
Wow.
And by the time I was done, my hands and arms were so sore, but it was just this coolest thing because it was like she was working through me and using my hands. And what I was realizing was anything she did through my right hand was about cleansing or clearing or programming, and left hand was healing and communication.
Oh, wow.
So it was a beautiful experience. And then the next day, I thought, okay, I really hope that happens again, but I also am going to go into it open because maybe there's something else available for
Yes.
me. And it didn't take long. My hands started moving again, but they were so sore, my forearms and my hands. But this time she wasn't showing me what she was doing. And I thought, well, that's okay. I don't really need to see. And I got to where I was starting to get tired and I wanted to quit.
Oh, no.
I was telling her I can't do this anymore. And she was saying, yes, you can. You can do this just a little bit more. Okay, I could do this. And I'm sweating because it's hot sun, 28. My arms are sore and arms and hands are just going. I know she's doing stuff and I know it's all great stuff. But this goes on, and I felt like, okay, it felt like she was dragging me up a mountain. At one point, I even said, I feel like you're taking advantage of me.
Stop it.
It felt like I don't watch a lot of TV. My husband watched that Yellowstone series. I never really watched it, but I
Yes.
felt like this stallion in Wildstone that was like just like broken and then put in the barn to, you know, just, and then I was thinking, okay, it's done. And she came back and said, no, that was just a rest. We're doing more.
Oh, no.
And I'm dumping water on myself. Anyway, it finally gets to the end and she tells me, you've been training for this your whole life.
Oh,
You are me on the other side. She was basically showing me that what I was able to do was bring her medicine to people without them actually having to drink it, which
oh,
is incredible
yes.
because it's illegal here in Canada. And so, yeah, she had to test me and she took me to where I did vomit, which often can happen in ayahuasca. But she pushed me to make sure that I could move, a lot of energy through my body
Wow.
doing these sessions. And at the end, it was this beautiful experience. And she, kind of sat me in this, not a throne, but like a victory chair.
Okay.
And
Yep.
she said, you should be proud of yourself. And then there was this final test, and I have to share this because it was just so fascinating. Um, she said, you can do this on this side. And I'm now having a different interpretation of this, but in the moment, what I was interpreting that as was she was saying, you could do this on on spirit side. And she said, but you have to leave your family. And I said, no, absolutely not. And I didn't feel like I was going to die if I, chose that or anything.
Yes.
And then my son came in. He said, come on, Mom, come and do it over on this side. And I said, no, I have to stay and do it here. And that was what I was supposed to say. That was my final test.
Oh,
And
really?
that's when I got put in the victory chair, and it was like all the psychedelic medicine was drained from me. And then I was just exhausted. And I opened my eyes, and there was dragonflies all around me,
Oh, wow.
hence the tattoos.
That was
um,
going to be one of my questions is where the heck did those tattoos come from?
yes, so you dragonflies and the ayahuasca vines because she works through me. And ever since that day, which was it was almost a year ago now, she has channeled through me,
No,
and I think I've done over 1,200 channeled healings, but
1,200 in
they've
a year?
evolved. Yeah,
Holy,
yeah.
that's a
And I
lot.
do them differently. It's very different in that I'm not with a person on Zoom or in person. I sit down in my space here. I open sacred space. I call in the spirit energy. So I don't just work with her. I work with a lot of the different spirit energies, how
Right.
I was taught with my Peruvian shamans. And then I'm just shown. And in the beginning, there was a lot of stuff with my hands where I would see clear, whether it was physical, mental. Oh, it was just mind blowing. And each one was so unique and really fascinating, and they've evolved over the year, to where my hands aren't as active in it. They still are. A lot of times now my hands will go into mudras, which I then have to look up after. But the messages coming through are just incredible about, the reason for a certain suffering is because of this, and how it can be cleared. And often there's homework. And I just voice record and I send the recording to people. That's how I do
Oh,
it.
very cool.
It's interesting. And then, like I said, they've evolved so much to where, in the last 5, 6 months, I've also started studying under some other shaman lineages, specifically the people where with a lot of plant medicines,
Okay.
and working with that, and then having a lot of different other plant spirit energies come forward, not just ayahuasca, but the spirit energy of the rose or tobacco or dandelion. They'll just
Oh,
show up in someone's channel, with, for example, a message to, drink dandelion tea or whatever. And sometimes it's these plants that come through. I don't even really know what the healing properties are, but after, when I look it up, it makes sense because
right.
it is in total alignment with the channel. So yeah, it's a different channeling, and then it's evolving even more to where, we've been somewhat experimenting, I guess, a little bit, where, I've had a friend of mine, we did a day retreat last Sunday, and she just took me into a deeper state of relaxation, to call forward like collective consciousness, where it is like not me channeling, it's something else channeling through me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's just evolving, and yeah, it's really interesting.
That's
And then my
cool.
body does a lot of weird stuff, but I love doing them because, and honestly, I often don't remember people's channels after.
Oh, okay.
I'll remember certain things that maybe stand out, but it's like it comes in and it's gone. I don't really retain it. Um, but when people, you know, give the feedback, it's always, yes, this makes total sense, or this is
Yes.
bang on, or the physical stuff. But what's really cool is, there's lessons that come in so often, or teachings, and I get to be previewed to that. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm getting to learn along with everybody through their channels, which is incredible.
I tell my clients all the time is I get just as much out of doing a session as you do because I'm just a conduit and I'm learning as they're talking. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's
Yeah.
amazing. But through that, I got a couple questions for you. You talked about, is it Kiro shaman? That's what you're studying under?
So it's Qero. That's the area
Kiro.
that they're from. It's like high up in the mountains.
So
Yeah.
is it the proper word shamanism?
Shaman. Well, actually, in Peru, it's shaman is a Paco,
Paco?
and Nusta Paco is female shaman. So I will officially be a Nusta Paco,
Now,
but
is you
shaman.
say you were studying under them? Do different shamans believe different things? Like, how does that? Because I've heard so many different. I study under this shaman, or I study under that shaman.
Yeah, there are a lot of similarities and some differences. Like, for example, I'm not super knowledgeable with like North American indigenous,
Hmm.
ceremonies and practices and that sort of thing, but I'm familiar with a little bit. Um, and I have seen some similarities. So, for example, like with the four directions, like the North American indigenous, there's four
Yes.
directions. There's an animal for each direction. Um, and I think there's something else too. I was explained and I don't remember. But same thing in Peru. There's, it's the spirit of the south is represented by serpent, Lake Titicaca. The west is represented by jaguar and certain mountains. The
Okay.
north is represented by Machu Picchu, Sacred Valley, hummingbird. So yeah, there's these different spirit energies.
Right.
So when I'm working in like a ceremony or even with a channel, a lot of times these different, like serpent might come in right away to do some clearing.
Right.
Or I might notice that, okay, there's some imbalance here. We're going to call hummingbird forward. Yeah, it's just fascinating. And then, people will say, oh my gosh, I saw 3 snakes today, or
Yes.
The synchronicities are, yeah, it's
Neat.
incredible.
Now you
Yeah.
talk about ayahuasca. To the person who doesn't understand, never been, what is ayahuasca?
Yeah. So ayahuasca is a psychedelic medicine. Um, it is prepared by cooking two different plants. Like there's an ayahuasca vine, and then you actually have to have DMT in it, which comes from another chacuna plant, if I remember.
Okay.
And then the shamans, they boil and they make this medicine, and you just drink a little bit. Depending on the ceremony or your tolerance, you could drink more.
Right.
But it is a ceremony that could last anywhere from 2 to 5 hours
Oh,
in
wow.
that psychedelic state. It has been, I mean, I researched a lot before I did participate. And I mean, there's just so many studies where it has been so helpful and powerful in healing a lot of traumas, PTSD. A lot of military, have found amazing recovery through it. I'm a big believer and supporter in plant medicines. I'm not against, modern medicine or
No.
medication. I think sometimes it's needed, but I have been working with a lot of even the non-psychedelic plant medicines. I've been bringing some in from the Amazon, and I think too, it's so important for us to take responsibility for our health these
Yes.
days for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, it's hard for people to find doctors or to get into appointments. So if you can take the best care of yourself to avoid needing that, that's the first step, I think.
Yes.
So, and that's taking care of your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health,
There's,
your
yes.
spiritual health, all of it, right? That balance.
It's,
But there's
yeah.
so much, there's still a lot of non-psychedelic medicine available to us, even in our own yards, in our own communities, in our own province here. But we're not taught about it, or we're actually taught, oh, that's a weed, kill it.
Well, spray it,
Like
right?
dandelion.
Dandelion.
Dandelion
Spray that
has so
damn thing.
many medicinal benefits, and every part of it can be consumed as a medicine.
Yes.
And
And
we
I've heard
just
that so
spray them.
many times, especially with the dandelion.
Yeah.
Where was I going? There's so many questions that came out of that. Um, you had mentioned when you were talking that ayahuasca is illegal in Canada, so we don't use it. I should say you don't use it, but you're able to work with people with and still get the same results. Is that what you is? Did I interpret that correctly? How did that?
Sort of, yeah. Yeah, like a lot of times in the channels that I'm doing, Mama Ayahuasca will bring her medicine in to the body,
Oh,
and sometimes in different areas. Sometimes it comes into a certain energy center. Sometimes she brings it in through the navel energy center. Sometimes it comes into the crown, into the mind, or into the subconscious mind.
okay.
Yeah, and we can do this. It's funny because I remember someone telling me this before I even went to Peru last year with psilocybin, that you can call forward the spirit energy of the plant, whether it's psilocybin or ayahuasca or a rose plant.
Yeah.
Plants have a consciousness,
Yes.
right? And just like we can through Reiki, or these other modalities bring healing, the plants can also bring their medicine energetically, spiritually to us.
Very cool. So
Yeah, it's fascinating.
when you say they bring in the medicine, if you're doing a session with me, are they bringing it in to me or to you?
To you. So I almost do it like a prayer.
Okay.
Um, I might say I'm praying and asking for Mama Ayahuasca to pour her medicine into Kevin's lungs to bring healing into the lungs,
Right.
or sometimes it might be there. Maybe there's a lot of grief and there's some heart healing needed, and I might just all of a sudden see the rose come forward. So I will call the spirit of the rose to bring her medicine into the heart for healing,
That's
and
amazing.
filling that space with love and
Goosebumps on my
compassion.
goosebumps, young lady.
Yeah, so it's the plants, it's the consciousness of the plants, right? And I actually did just recently finish another training specifically on plant consciousness and how, yes, we can. And I actually did this when I was out at Riverside Acres, where they have this beautiful Galaxy Gardens, which is that's a whole show you could do. But I was through a channel told to go and talk to the plants and just pick, 4 or 5 that I was drawn to. And I went and I sat down and I just, I touched the plant and I listened. And they tell you, like, this plant told me, it was for compassion, or it could do this. Like, it can tell you, you can make tea out of me, or you can't drink me because I'm poisonous, or whatever, right? Like, it's just like
Yeah.
we would have a conversation with a person, or we would have a conversation with a guide.
Yes.
We can have a conversation with a plant, and we can learn about it. We can work with it, and we can ask it to, so we can receive medicine from plants energetically and spiritually.
That
Which
is
is
so
amazing,
cool.
because some of them aren't available to us, right? And I mean, those that are, for example, if the rose comes forward, I will also tell someone, you might want to drink some rose water tea.
Okay.
You
Yes.
can, yeah, so we can, those that we can consume legally, we can do that as well, but we can energetically and spiritually receive their medicine through what I would call it, like, prayer
Yeah.
and ceremony.
Now, ayahuasca, and I got to make sure what I say here. When I was younger, I dabbled in a lot of recreational drugs many, many
Yeah.
years ago. Um, is ayahuasca dangerous like some of the drugs, recreational drugs that are available on the
I
street?
think where anything becomes a danger, well, especially, there's some that are always a danger, but in the sense of like plant medicines, where it's psychedelic.
Yes.
First thing I want to say is, if you are on certain medications,
Yes.
that could create problems, right? So you do want to make sure, like our shaman that we work with, and the biggest one is if anybody is on antidepressants, they need to come off for so many days before. But a
Okay.
lot of people have done the ayahuasca, and never gone back on their antidepressants again.
I've heard of it so
The
many times.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say where it's dangerous, and again, this is coming to where, I mean, there's lots of people that have done a lot of different, like you said, social or recreational drugs, but there's a difference. We'll even use psilocybin for an example. There's a difference in going out with a group and, doing psilocybin versus being in a ceremony setting and being intentional about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you're bringing intention into it, it is going to be the most beautiful experience that's needed. But when there's no intention, or it's just kind of like loosey-goosey, who knows what you're opening yourself up to, right?
And
And that's where the danger can
I
be.
always warn people, if you're going to do this, do it with somebody that knows what they're doing. Don't they need to have that training. They need to understand what they're dealing with, right?
And and the other thing I think is to have the respect for the medicine itself, the
Yes.
plant. That is huge, right? I mean, it's a consciousness as well.
Yes.
Like, if I come on here and I don't respect you, it's not going to be a very good experience, right? But when
Exactly.
there is respect, it is a good experience. So
Huge.
that is the important thing: respect the medicine, be in ceremony, and have, intention with it.
That's so cool. So cool.
Yeah.
Um, and that's just a minute part of what you're doing, which is I could spend 2 hours talking with you about what you're doing. But let's talk about your retreats, because I'm
Sure.
fascinated with your retreats, and I know you have one coming up in a couple months here. Is that true? Is that right?
A couple weeks, actually. Yeah,
Couple weeks.
in
Sorry.
September 16th, we're heading back to Peru.
Nice.
Armanda, who has been on here before, she was with me
Yes.
last year. She's coming again this year. I think
That-
there's 8 of us going this year.
So cool.
Yeah, so that one is all, I don't lead a lot in that part. I kind of organize it and get everybody there, but then we're with the family that I've been studying with, the
Oh,
shamans,
okay.
for the last 5 years, the whole family, the daughter, the father, the granddaughter, the uncles. It's a whole family. They're all shamans.
Oh, very cool.
And they take us to different sacred sites, and we do different ceremonies. Not just ayahuasca, but we do waterfall cleansing ceremonies and up on the mountain. my tour Machu Picchu. It's a fantastic retreat. We do end with the ayahuasca
Nice.
before coming home. Yeah, so that's become an annual one. We're going to do that again next year. We're going to add on a bit next year and make it a little bit longer and add a few more
Nice.
locations on, which would
And
be great.
these fill up very, very quickly.
Yes, that one is starting to fill up faster. The Thailand one that I do every March fills up fast. Usually I take it to 10. We have 12 this year.
Wow.
And I'm already booking that stuff. It's exciting. That's one of my favorite ones too. And that's it's I will say equally spiritual retreat, but very different. Whereas the Peru one is very, with the shamans and it's very specific ceremony. How I would explain the Thailand one is it's a more subtle spiritual experience for a lot of people, because
Okay.
it is a very, it's very Buddhist country,
Right.
different lifestyle. So to be in that is eye-opening for a lot of people and
Okay.
life-changing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are these retreats ones, how do I phrase this? People who are just starting to dip their toe into spirituality would go on, or is these more
Anybody.
That's what
Anybody is open to come. I've had men and women. I've had young people. I've had, people in their 40s, 50s. I think the oldest person I had was 71.
71. Wow.
Yes, came to Thailand,
Nice.
and I have a lot of couples coming, a husband and wife.
Nice.
Yeah, lots of different couples, friends, mother, daughter, all kinds. Yeah,
Nice.
it's open to everybody. The Thailand one started out as yoga retreats, but they're not really yoga focused anymore. The people that come aren't really, they're just wanting to enjoy everything, and that's fine. I always offer yoga. I do some ceremonies there, but that one's not as ceremonial as Peru is.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
This name keeps
And
coming
then
to
local
my
retreats.
every time you mention Peru, this name comes to me, and I don't know if he's a mutual friend. Do you know Kemel? The
I don't think so.
he's a shaman. What does he call himself? Not your average shaman or something. But he was in Canada and now he's actually living in Peru.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I'm not sure who he's studying under, or he is from the Ivory Coast of South Africa.
Oh,
And
okay.
he spent, I don't know, 5 years here in Canada. His story is amazing.
Oh,
If
I'll
you
have to
if you
check
get a
that out.
chance, look him up, and maybe when you're in Peru, there's supposed to be a connection there. I think
Okay.
he's very cool. You'd love him. I know because I know you, and I know him, and I know you guys would click really well.
Okay. Well, I'll have to get that information from you after.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny how these it's like I don't want to talk about Kevali now. We're talking with him. You have to mention it. Okay, I'm mentioning it. Listen to your guides. It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Trust.
you also do, I'm going to call them mini retreats for a lack of a better word, up
Yeah,
in the Edmonton area. Do you not?
I do. Yeah, I do. Usually at least one, sometimes two a year out at Riverside Acres, which is just north of Edmonton, up sort of towards Westlock. A
Okay.
beautiful place there, and that is an incredible. That's a whole credible story too. That whole place was created through channels, and it's a magnificent place. Love going there, so I do at least one there every year, sometimes two. And then some day retreats in Edmonton. We just did one at Providence Renewal Center, which was beautiful. Just, a full day, sort of 9 to 5 of ceremonies and
That
people
is
gathering. It was incredible.
so
Yeah.
cool. If people want to get a hold of you, where's the best place that they can reach out to you?
I'm pretty accessible on Facebook, Instagram. Both of those have the link to my link tree, which has all my events coming up. I have a few online events before I leave for Peru. And I'm doing a big in-person event 2 days after I get back from Peru. I do a lot of cacao ceremonies, cacao and channeling ceremonies, but I've rented a space for this one to have a
Oh,
bigger group. And I'll be fresh in the ayahuasca energies and the spirit of Peru. So that'll be October 4th at Yoga Life Studios in South Edmonton. So looking forward to that.
October 4th in Edmonton.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
Saturday.
repeating it so somebody who's listening can make sure they. I know Angela's listening, so October 4th
And
in
it's
Edmonton.
all, yeah, it's all in the links in my link tree. All the different events are there, and that
Very
links to my
cool.
website and anywhere. So
And that's the best place. You go to her Facebook is where I go, and if you click on that link tree, you can see everything that she offers. And it's too long to list. I did go look at it, and I was going to write it all down. I was going to actually type it so it'd be in the ticker, and it was too long. It was like I can't write all this. There's
yeah.
that much. Go to Kim Wilkinson, her Facebook page. Um, you won't be disappointed. I have done sessions with Kim. I've done numerous sessions with Kim, and it's funny because I look at you and when I think of you, I think of you with the blue hair.
Yes.
Because when I first met you was July 2nd in Canmore.
Yes, that's
So
right.
3 years ago now, or is it 2 years? Two.
Maybe 4.
Is it really been 4 years? It was during
Maybe
COVID. It was just after
it,
COVID.
it's been a while.
Wow. And it's funny because every time I talk to my buddy Rod Peterson, I connect him with you because you were doing a session with him. And I looked over and went, I need to meet him. And
Yeah.
we are best friends now. We talk every day. It's insane. And it's weird how that all connects with what I do. Behind this screen is all sports. And that's the other thing I do. And Rod's very heavy into sports, but also a very spiritual person. Anything else that you're doing that you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
I just want to say hi to everybody in the chat, Anita
Yes,
and Robin and Shelley. Um, so nice to see you guys here. I love connecting with all of these women.
they're incredible.
I love how, what's happening for everybody right now. Well, I'm going to say what's happening is opportunity for everybody, right? And it's up to everyone if they take it or not. But to see so many people, like you said, we all have abilities and gifts. And it's, do you believe it? Do you trust it? Are you going to, step into it? Are you going to share it? Are you going to trust
Yeah,
it? Are you going to believe in yourself? But so many people are. And I love that. It's so fantastic. And because we are all connected, right?
it's funny the way you say that because I often think if I would have said no in 2020 when Ellison was telling me that Ken was doing a workshop and I didn't take level 1, you can't see it, it's at a frame. And that was July 12th of 2020. If I hadn't taken that course, what would I be doing today? And for some reason, I said yes. I said no so many times leading up to that. And all of a sudden, it was like, yeah, let's do it. And it was more or less, I wanted to shut it all down. I didn't want to do this. I wanted to shut it down. It wasn't 10 minutes into the course that a little light bulb went off and went, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this. Now I get it. And like you
Yeah.
say, I find more and more people are accepting that now,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And it's not just it's my neighbor, it's the guy in the grocery store. I was talking to a bartender at a pub 6 months ago, and I forget how the conversation came up, but he found out I was a medium and he was all fascinated with it. Well, he's now stepping into his own. And I'm just like, how does this work?
Yeah.
Like, it's just everyday people doing what we're supposed to be doing.
That wall of fear is coming down, right? I
Yes.
often say, you know, we all want change. We all want change, but greatest fear is change. But if nothing changes, nothing changes,
Yes.
right? And so we have to take chances. And we were talking a little bit before we came on, and talking about like a leap of faith, right?
Yes.
And so I'm going to share this story because I
Oh,
told you I
yes.
would. We were talking about how I'm not a planner, and those of you that have done anything with me, especially a retreat or workshop, I don't plan because I always let spirit lead. And I think where I learned this was as a kid. And I've shared the story, some of you may know it, but as a kid, I was a synchronized swimmer. And in Yorkton, Saskatchewan,
Yep, in Saskatchewan.
Yep, that's Saskatchewan. And it was my very first time doing a solo. And it was like, I don't know if it was provincials, but there was all, all the different Regina and Saskatoon and all the communities are there, and it's our home pool. And the music comes on, and I did my little deck dance, and I jumped in the water, and I completely forgot my whole routine.
Oh no.
And, probably most kids, like I was grade 7. Most kids probably would have ran to the change room crying, embarrassed for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I came up and I did this and this and that. And I went over here and I made the whole thing up. And we had this coach. She was an older British woman. I was terrified of her, but she was a really good coach. But I got out of the pool and she said, "What the hell was that?" And I said, "I don't know. I forgot." She's like, "Well, it wasn't anything we practiced for the last 6 months, but it was okay." But I got 3rd place out of 7. And so, I think what I learned of that is if you just try and do your best, it'll be okay. And that's
Yes.
where, like I said, back to when I came and said to my husband, "I'm going to quit my job and be a yoga teacher." And he was like, "What?" Yeah, it'll work out, right? But trust,
It's that leap of
surrender and
faith.
trust, right?
Yes.
Leap of faith. And yeah, we sometimes it takes that experience for us to start to believe it more. But I will share one thing that came through in a channel for a few people is there's a lot of illusion for us on this planet, right? We have a lot of misunderstandings. And one of the things they said was that you have to believe it before you will see it, right? But for us, it's kind of the other way
Oh,
around.
yes.
You have to believe it before you will see it.
I like
And
that.
until you believe it, you're not going to experience it, right? So yes, if I believe, you know what, it's going to work. So this is the approach I take, right? So, when the channeling started coming, I'm just like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm doing it. Right?
Yes.
But it's that leap of faith, it's surrender and trust. And maybe it's not perfect the first time, but you get something and you get somewhere, and then you have a stepping stone and you
Yes.
continue to move not only forward, but up, right?
Oh,
And you grow.
and I tell a lot of my clients who I'm teaching channeling, teaching mediumship to, your first readings aren't going to be perfect. It's not a thing. You're going to stumble. You're going to fail. It's a fact. You're going to not make sense to people. But you know what? The more you practice, just like anything else, the easier it's going to come to you. And when you realize to stop using this thing in here and just trust that what's coming to you is real, it becomes magical. And that's the only word I
That's the
use.
key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistency. Yeah. And when
For
you're consistent, there's magic and miracles like we
it's
couldn't even imagine.
I proved it. I mean, we're speaking to the choir between the two of us, but I mean, if somebody would have told me 5 years ago that I would be doing thousands, plurals of readings, I would have laughed at them. I would have just laughed. If they would have told me I would be teaching people to do it, I would even laugh harder. Because I did when my guides first suggested it. I was like, "You're nuts. I'm not doing that. I could never do that." And I remember the first time, I had it all written down. I knew exactly what I was going to do. And I didn't do one thing on that piece of paper. Not one. It was just like, okay, we're going to turn that over and we're just going to talk. It's just that simple.
Totally. Yeah.
And that's what I do now. Do I have an outline? Kind of, but it's more just you guys are in charge. You go ahead.
Yeah, it's that attachment, right? And it makes
Yes.
me think of, what I learned way back in one of my first trips in Thailand was like the Buddha says the root of all suffering is attachment. And we get, you know, we're familiar with the letting go of the stuff that's happened, but letting go of expectations too is another big one,
Yes.
right? Because expectations create limitations.
Yes.
So,
Don't.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, whew, goosebumps. It's funny because we had a conversation over text the other day or messenger, and we were talking about planning, and I'm like, I don't have questions. I'm just going to let it flow. And it always reminds me again of Rod Peterson. He has a saying that says, "Man plans, God laughs," and it's true, right? It's just we can make all the plans we want. they're going to change. How many times have we
I'm
planned
all
something
about,
and it changed?
yeah, and I'm all about work smarter, not harder. So if they are willing to do most of the work,
Have
I have no
at
problem
it.
stepping back. It took me a long time to figure that out, right? Because
Yes.
we can pray and then try to make it happen. But
Just
the more we just step back, the more it just falls into place.
that is so true. Miss Kim,
Yeah,
thank you so much. Probably expect me to see me up there October 4th. Um,
that would be wonderful.
yeah, ooh, goosebumps. It's telling me, everything in me is telling me that we're going to be there October 4th. So um, that'd be very cool because we're actually coming up to Edmonton October 9th. I'm taking my daughter and my son's girlfriend to, oh, what's her name? The Long Island Medium.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who you're
Teresa.
talking about, but I
Teresa
don't remember her
Caputo.
name. Okay, that'll
Yes,
be
so
fun.
that's up in Edmonton. So we're gonna might have to make a second trip to Edmonton.
Yeah, or just come up for a whole week.
There you go. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Kim, thank you so much. Again, if you want to get a
Thank you
hold of
so much.
Kim, go to Kim Wilkinson on Facebook or Instagram. Everything's there. Click on her link tree. It'll let you know everything she's doing. Until next week, folks, thank you. I don't have a guest for next week, so we'll be doing mini readings next week, and probably the week after we'll have a guest again. Take care and